Okay, we're back with episode 12 of our Descent Legends of the Dark series after a nice little holiday break. And we're going to be going strong until the end of this year, and a ton of good games that I have coming out from Kickstarter. Not me, but, that I ordered. They're going to be coming out. But first I want to say thank you to all our YouTube members. You help make this channel possible because it does take a lot of time, money, effort away from family to do this. So thank you so much. If you would like to do that, you can go to the front page and check out our YouTube members thing. Or if you just want to hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, hit that bell, because that helps too. Without further ado, let's go. Now, if you've been watching this series, you know I love these miniatures. These are fantastic, great, high-quality miniatures. So there's not that many mold lines, but there's a little bit on the base that you're going to scrape off. Now, I'm going to be using a airbrush for our priming. So I'm going to be using some black primer from Vallejo. If you do not have this, it's not a big deal. Just hit some black spray paint on there, Citadel, Vallejo, Harmon Painter, whatever you got. And then we're going to do a nice zenithal highlighting from white from above. And that's all we're going to do for our priming of our miniature. Now for this entire series, we've started with the base because, yeah, why not? And the first color we're going to be using is Aggaros Dunes on the dust that is getting kicked up by our Bandit. We're going to cover that entire thing with this specific color. For the bottom, we're going to be using some Militarium Green to make it look like grass. Now, if you get a little bit of that Aggaros Dunes on the grass, that's perfectly fine. You want it to look kind of blended, just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Now you're noticing throughout the base of the miniature there's nice little leaves going on, just like other miniatures in this game. So we're going to start painting those leaves with a fall color scheme. So the first one we're going to use is Khorne Red, and there's no rhyme or reason. Just pick out whatever leaves you want. You can do them all the same color. You can not. You can save time, do whatever you want. But first one I'm going to use is Khorne Red. I'm then going to be moving to a Deathguard Green and just randomly picking out leaves throughout the miniature. Next, we're going to be using some Averland Sunset to pick out some other leaves. Now you're going to notice that zenithal highlighting, if you did it correctly, that black that's at the bottom pokes out through the Aggaros Dunes, and that's what you want. It gives you that nice automatic darkness that you're looking for. For another set of leaves, I'm going to be using some Trollslayer Orange. And on the last set of leaves, I'm going to be using some Moot Green. Again, you don't need to be using all these colors. You don't have to use any of these colors if you don't want. This is just color schemes that I'm using. Alright, now we're going to be starting with our base colors, and the first thing we're going to be using is a German gray. If you don't have this specific color, it's very comparable to some Mechanicus standard gray mixed with some extra black. That's all it is. So it's not a big deal if you don't have this. We're going to be painting a vast majority of this miniature in this specific color because the color scheme for this, if you look at the art that is online, it's very mundane gray. I mean, he's a ninja. Well, he's a bandit, but he looks like a ninja. Bandit ninja, I guess we can call him. And we're going to be using this specific color. It's not going to be very vibrant or bright, just very grayish undertones. But you'll get it. It looks good. And this is probably the longest part of painting this miniature. And as you can see here, everything I painted. So if you want to pause it and make sure you get everything. Next, we're going to be going around and we're going to be painting some of these stitches and the robes, belts with some Eshin Grey. Now, this is a very I guess you could say transitional color where you're not going to notice it that much. You're just going to notice it slightly, and all it's going to do is take away all that heavy gray with the Eshin Grey and just kind of make it blend in nice and easy. For our hands that are sticking out on our little crossbow thingy and the dagger that our bandit is holding, we're going to be using some Cadian Fleshtone. For the quiver on the back of our bandit, along with some of the straps that are on the dagger and other little areas, we're going to be using some Stormvermin Fur. It's another little gray, but just very obviously lighter. For our arrows, again, I'm trying to match the card art. I don't know why they made white arrows with white fletchings, but we're going to put a base of Apothecary White, and then we're going to clean this up at the final stage of the miniature. We're going to be using a series of different metallic paints, and the first we're going to be using is some Iron Warriors on this specific part. For the other portions, like on our daggers that are on his chest, the dagger that he is holding, and the arrowhead, we're going to be using some Iron Hands steel. To break up the gray and the metal, we're going to be taking some Rhinox Hide and putting on some straps scattered throughout the miniature, as you're going to see in these next 3 slides. This was one portion I didn't really know what to do for, so I just used some Shyish Purple on our little pouches that I'm assuming are full of dust magic or smoke bombs or something cool like that. For the death mask, as I like to think of it, on our banner, we're going to be using some Corax White. Just be a little careful, try not to get in the recesses of it, just get that front portion of the mask. And for the boots of our bandit, we're going to be using some Abaddon Black, and that's going to be the final color on the base coat. This is not a long miniature. It just takes a while, obviously, because you got 4 of them to paint. We're then going to do a 2 different shades here. The first one's going to be Reikland Fleshshade onto our skin tone. And the next wash that we're going to be using is a 50-50 mix of Nulin Oil and Lahmian Medium. We don't want to overpower this gray, which obviously we're going to try not to by mixing that Lahmian Medium in there. And we're going to cover this entire miniature, obviously not the base, but the miniature itself, except for the hands with the Nulin Oil and the Lahmian Medium. And this is going to give you a nice subtle dark color. And while you're waiting this to dry, head over to our Instagram at nerd.nights, where I'm always posting new stuff and upcoming miniatures that we're going to be painting. Once your miniatures are all fully dry, we're going to do a very minimal amount of highlights. The first one's going to be Dawnstone, very light dry brush onto the gray portions of our miniature. This is probably the easiest way I found it. I took the other miniatures and tried some other stuff, and this is probably the easiest thing to do. Next, we're going to take just our original base coat of Cadian Fleshtone and then just re-highlight up just a little bit of our hands. Focusing on the fingers, the fingertips, and those pads on the hands. Next, we're going to take some Corax White, and we're going to put this on the face, and we're also going to use this on the fletchings of our arrows. You can also do the shaft of the arrows as well, but we're going to keep them nice and white and not do anything crazy with it. To highlight up our metal areas, we're just going to take some little bit of Ironbreaker, do a little bit of edge highlighting on some of these spots, specifically on the dagger, the shards, dagger shards, or whatever they are on the chest, a little bit on the arrowhead. To brighten up just a little bit on the quiver, we're going to take some Baneblade Brown and just hit those straps, just specifically those straps, just to give it some color variation. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. And finally, we're going to paint the rim of that base. I'm going to do mine in black. You can do whatever other color you want, but I've been doing all in black, so I'm going to stick to that because, you know, uniformity, I guess. So that's basically it as we're coming down the stretch, and wasn't that hard. You did a good job. I know you did. I know everybody who sends me pictures, because tons of people send me pictures on Instagram, and I love seeing everything. I love seeing you guys' miniatures, how you paint them, things you change. I love seeing it. So great job. And I want to thank everybody, specifically our YouTube members or subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't hurt. We got a whole stuff load coming up. Hero Quest, Frosthaven's going to be a huge one next year. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. All right, paint on.